Hey friends. I had something show up today, and it's interesting. It's kind of like perfectly timed, given where I was yesterday and sort of what was showing up yesterday, and that I mentioned in my post yesterday that I had a conversation with my coach about kind of what my next project or a project that I'm considering, and that is has been simmering for a while, sort of coming into the foreground a little more now, which essentially amounts to defining my process of how I've engaged with a creative career and life, and what principles I follow, and what my kind of guiding insights have been. And so that's something that I discussed that yesterday, and it's something that I'm little by little beginning to just reflect on and unpack a little bit. And so I woke up this morning, and as I was doing my yoga qigong routine, I had this flash of, because the first question I kind of asked myself after yesterday's post and after the conversation yesterday, or even in the conversation yesterday, was what are the principles that I follow, right? If there is a path here, if there is a system or some kind of coherent practice here, what are some of the principles of that, and how to define that? So that's just been where my headspace has been for the last 24 hours. And what poofed into my mind this morning was that this might even be kind of like the central, or the first kind of outgoing principle in a way. And it's simply that we choose our own life. We choose to live this life that we're having with, and sort of give up any sense, any inkling, notion, any sense that that we're missing something, or that someone else has secrets that we need, or else we can't, be actualized, or else we can't reach our dreams, or whatever. The top to bottom, we have to be willing to embrace our own life and say, this is the life that I want to be living above all else. I wouldn't trade. And if you could trade with your favorite celebrity, movie star, sports hero, spiritual guru, anybody you can name, if you were offered the choice, would you trade? Like, wouldn't you rather be living their spectacular life? Your answer is no, of course not. I want to live my life. This is my journey. This is my karmic journey. And the funny thing about this principle is our own internal spiritual core, our essence, our authentic self, already feels 100% that way. Our authentic self is not dying to trade lives or paths or skill sets or anything with anybody else. That part of us knows exactly, and with crystal clarity, that we are here to be this person, that this journey is. And it's almost like it's illogical to wish we were someone else, or wish we were somewhere else in our journey. It's actually, if we understand how karma works, and that anything that is showing up right now is a gift to us. Anything that is in our life, whether it's a massive obstacle, whether it's a giant celebration and fruition period of joy and wonderfulness, or if it's a dark time of doubt and fear and obstacle, we are getting exactly what we need. That whatever it is, it's a gift. And again, our deepest self already knows this. It already has that orientation. But on the surface, on the level of our mind, which is concerned with survival and, much more superficial concerns, it's not operating on that level of depth. From the point of view of the mind, it's really easy to want out. It's really easy to not want to be here now, or to want to be someone else, or to look over there and see benefit and wish we were that, wish we were there, wish we were somehow somewhere else. And so what was really hitting home to me today is that first step of truly choosing our own life and choosing total satisfaction, total confidence, knowing. It's like honoring ourself, honoring the fact that we are here to be who we are. It's at the foundation of everything. That's an outgoing posture from which now we can operate, right? Now we can actually say, well, where do I want to go? What is my path? Where am I drawn? What attracts me? But we have to start there. If we're starting from the point of view of, I'm going to just not deal with myself, I'm going to sort of try and accomplish, I'm trying to get to a certain point in terms of security, get to a certain point in terms of affluence or abundance or relationship, partnership, having kids, whatever. I'm going to get the things that I feel like will make me fulfilled, and then I'll deal with, and the assumption is that at some point we'll feel safe enough to be willing to then have the time and space to let ourselves be ourselves. But of course, it never works that way. We never get there because the chase is endless. The things that will bring us to that place will never bring us to that place. They only seem like they will, but they never actually do. So we can't actually arrive. And we're probably looking at the wrong things, most likely, if we're not listening to that part of ourselves that is totally happy, totally convinced that this is our life, and that embraces what's in front of it. I mean, the other thing that is inherent in that, by choosing my own life, I also that implies that anything the universe gives us, anything, because my life is not just me. My life is my environment. My life is my circumstances. My life is what the flow of time inserts into my experience over time. My karma, all of that, my relationship, all of that is my life. So choosing my life is also a way of saying I'm just deciding to say yes to everything that comes my way. Now, the interesting distinction here is it doesn't mean that if we're being abused, we just say yes to the abuse. That's not it. It doesn't mean that we actually take in the things we're being given without scrutinizing them or without any kind of discrimination going on. It just means we know they are a service to us on some level. I have had the experience recently of sort of having something which kind of felt like an attack. I talked about it a couple weeks ago on my post, and my takeaway from that was, oh, I need to be willing to defend myself. That's the act of service in this experience. Is I'm being offered an opportunity to kind of stand up for myself in a way, and to stand up for the delicate part of myself, to stand up for the inner child that feels undefended. There's a lot of disentangling that kind of happens when we come from a place of availability. It's because all of a sudden, the face value of an experience or the face value of an obstacle isn't necessarily the final story. There may be more there. There may be depth and scope and detail that we don't instantly recognize, and that actually provides opportunity in a way that we don't initially see. So I think that's where I'm arriving at with this, is that this outgoing principle of choosing my own life is I don't know if I can call it the first principle or like the foundational principle, but it has foundational aspects to it because it incorporates so much of what I think living a really connected, creative life is all about. There has to be a certain kind of acceptance of ourself, no matter what we may see there. And if we wish we were someone else, if we wish we had someone else's set of circumstances or skill sets or capacities in some way, okay. Know that on the deepest level, we don't actually believe that, and then we can sort of close the gap. We can sit with ourselves, knowing that there's a reason why I am in this world, and bridge that gap. It's entirely going to happen that we're going to experience resistance to ourselves. I mean, what do we think all this processing karma stuff is? It's looking at the aspects of ourselves that are not yet fully psychically, spiritually incorporated and integrated into our being. They are resistance. They are our resistances in some ways. But saying yes to the big picture, just saying a kind of like larger yes to it, and then continually revisiting that yes as we have discrete experiences that cause whatever, have whatever effect on us that they have, it changes the game. It changes the entire game of how we can move and what we're then willing to see and what we're willing to receive. So felt like a big one that showed up today. So thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate you. Love you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.